What's up, everyone? This is Adam with Rancid and Sweaty Cats coming at you with yet another video. And what do you know? Another really crappy hot take from CBR.com. I really don't know where they get these ideas, but in case you can't tell, the title of this, the big bold title of this, is that the Batman's Zoe Kravitz Catwoman is already better than Michelle Pfeiffer's in one way. Now, you better have some really good evidence to suggest that anyone is better than Michelle Pfeiffer playing Catwoman, because Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is pretty much peak live-action Catwoman. She's got the look of Catwoman, she's got the kind of sassy attitude of Catwoman. She doesn't have a comic book accurate origin like Catwoman. However, her portrayal of the character and the motivations and the how you say, the main aspects of what makes Catwoman Catwoman is pretty much perfectly portrayed in Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Now, there is one big difference from the comics that is quite agitating, and that is that she is revived by a bunch of cats somehow. That's more of a story writing issue than a portrayal of a character issue. Now, if we go down through the article, it says, when Batman Returns came out in 1992, Michelle Pfeiffer's portrayal of Selina Kyle won rave reviews in what turned out to be one of the most iconic performances in pop culture history. They got that right, that's for daggum sure. It's the gold standard to which all Catwoman depictions are held, as she went from geek to feline vixen who struck terror in Gotham and brought romance to Michael Keaton's Dark Knight. However, it says here, however, as Matt Reeves' trailers for the Batman illustrate, Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is already better. Now, here's where they kind of leave it in the eye of the beholder to determine as to whether or not it's actually better. But they try their best to make an excuse, even though they haven't seen the movie, and they don't know the full story or the full reason behind Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman acting friendly towards Batman. Their decision to say that Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is actually better than Michelle Pfeiffer's is that what makes Kravitz's Selina more interesting is that she's fully interested in Batman and not as much in Bruce Wayne. Now, in case you didn't see the 1992 Batman Returns movie, in that, one of the reasons why it is that Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is so fixated on Bruce Wayne is because she knows that he's willing to stand up to her boss, who is a billionaire mogul who knows everything about the industry and knows all the people, but Bruce Wayne is unwilling to work with him, meaning that she's interested in getting on his friendly side so that he can put a stop to her boss's criminal activity. Now, one of the reasons why it is that and the other reason why Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is attracted to Batman is because she sees him as kind of the opposite of her, whereas she's a little bit more chaotic and a little bit more, she's feminine, chaotic, acts on the antagonistic side. Batman is more of a orderly, masculine, and acts within the justice side of things. And they go into that. They say that they created an air of unnecessary drama in Tim Burton's Batman Returns, with Selina being torn between two men, so to speak, not realizing they were the same person. It was a cliched love triangle which the comics, video games, and animated movies repeatedly dissected. Meaning that in the comics, movies, and animated films and video games, Catwoman has had attraction to both Bruce Wayne and Batman without knowing that they were both Batman and Bruce Wayne, that they were both the same person. Now, I for one think it actually adds to the character of Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, this little interest between two people at the same time seeking for the right, the truest, most perfect connection that she could reach out to. I think it makes a little bit more sense that there would be some level of romance between her and Batman or Bruce Wayne because of the way that the story plays out. The way that this Catwoman in Michelle Pfeiffer's portrayal acts is very, she acts very seductive in many cases. She even acts seductively towards the Penguin to get what she wants from the Penguin. So she uses her feminine charms to kind of act in a seductive way and get men that she's trying to cooperate with to do things that she wants. At first, her goal is to take down her boss, and then she wants to take out Batman because Batman is getting in the way of her taking down her boss. And then when she finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, she actually regrets the fact that she has to fight against him, because in reality, she's not necessarily torn between two men. She has more of an interest in Bruce Wayne genuinely, due to the fact that she has a personal connection with him and that they've actually shared romantic moments with him. She acts more seductively and more tauntingly towards Batman, before she finds out that Batman is actually Tim Burton, is actually Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne. So the whole misunderstanding that Selina Kyle has two love interests in Tim Burton's Batman Returns is a false premise. And she's actually attracted to Bruce Wayne. She's not attracted to Batman. She acts seductively to Batman. She acts in a very feminine, charming way towards Batman. But she does not act as a romantic interest towards Batman, so to speak. And that's pretty much the only reasoning they give here. So basically, one is Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is attracted to the icon of Batman and is acting incredibly shallow because Batman is an incredibly popular figure, whereas Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is interested in the man, in the person behind the mask, Bruce Wayne, because he's interesting, because he cares about her, because he approached her and was asking her if she was interested in hanging out sometime or having something to, because he commented on her and her appearance and all these other things and blah, 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 blah. Basically, it was the same love story that's been told 1,000 times before in all of media. But Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman from the commercials acts very vainly, having more of an interest in Batman because of the icon status that he has than she does in someone like Bruce Wayne, who seems like just an average dude in comparison, who seems very unflatteringly interesting in comparison to Batman. They try to say that it's much more nuanced, emotional, and wholesome, dynamic, mimicking the comics where Catwoman teased Batman before Selina and Bruce knew who the other was under the mask. And I agree to a certain extent. However, I do think that Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne having a sort of relationship on the side, not knowing that the other is their feminine or masculine counterpart, is far more interesting than a robber striking the eye of a superhero. And I'm not sure if they're trying to say that Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman is better than Michelle Pfeiffer's totally, or if this is really just them trying to say that it's just in this one aspect when it comes to the relational status between her and Batman and Bruce Wayne. I disagree. I really do. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is pretty much the peak in terms of what you can portray a Catwoman as, and I think that this whole appeal towards Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman not having an interest in two what she perceives as two people, but is actually one person, is more of just this attempt to defeminize female characters. Really, because if you take a look at Michelle Pfeiffer's character, she's both striking and feminine. Meaning that, in striking, I mean that she has her own unique storyline. You can get interested and involved in her character apart from what the story has her doing in the Batman movie. Whereas Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman seems very much so obsessive towards Batman. She seems very much so like she's attached to Batman and she can't have her own story. She seems very one-note, whereas Michelle Pfeiffer's was a lot more interesting in comparison. Now, again, we haven't seen the movie, so we don't know how to compare the two honestly. When the movie comes out, there will be a far better comparison capable, because we'll be able to take the two and see their screen time and actually compare their stories and their arcs and their character types and move from there. But as of right now, this article is just bait, and I don't really think that anyone should actually read it, because it's just a boring attempt to make it seem like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman has something over. I'm sorry. Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman has something over Michelle Pfeiffer's, when that's really just not the case, because again, we haven't seen the movie. And we don't know if Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman actually does have an affinity for Bruce Wayne. We don't know. We'll find out, obviously, on March 4th. But, that being said, this has been Adam with Rancid and Sweaty Calves. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below as to what you thought of the video, or if you have any suggestions as to what I should cover next. And don't forget to share this with your friends. It makes a huge difference in regards to the algorithm, and, as I'm struggling to create a channel that people actually watch, it would be a huge help. Anyways, that's been me, and I hope you guys have a great day and a great rest of the week.